Just check it on your end, Michelle.
I don't see, it's just blank on Facebook.
Yeah, on mine.
It's live.
Okay, yeah, there we go. We're live. All right. Welcome, welcome, everyone. You know, we have to do our mic check to make sure that we are live and that we're not just talking to ourselves. So, thank you guys so much for joining us once again. We are back with you for another episode of the Eventful Life Living Out Loud. I am your host, Janelle Boyd. I am the founder of the Eventful Life Enterprises, as well as the Eventful Life TV. I am a speaker. I am an event producer. But in this space, y'all, I call myself an instigator because I am here to make you think differently, especially my women entrepreneurs out there and my mompreneurs out there. It's time for us to think a little bit differently about how we move forward in our life and in our business, how we fail forward, okay? Because all it takes is a little bit of failing for you to end up landing in success, right? So this is what the Eventful Life Living Out Loud is all about. It's about bringing you women entrepreneurs, mompreneurs like myself and my guests that I bring here who are living authentically. They are, sharing their trials, their tribulations, but they're doing it authentically and we're doing it here together. So that way, this is how we know that we are not alone, that the things that we go through that we don't always like to talk about, let's be honest, that we don't always like to talk about, we must become comfortable with the uncomfortable. We must become comfortable with talking about the things that we just think nobody can identify with, or talking about the things that we are afraid of, or maybe even ashamed of. Because what I know is that when you call it out, it has no choice but to move. All right. So listen, y'all, I'm excited. Are y'all excited? I'm excited. Y'all know I say that every week. I'm excited because each and every week, I just, I end up bringing you guys a dynamic woman. And I'm telling you, this week is no different. I'm so excited to have Michelle here with me today because let me tell you a little bit about her. Can I tell them a little bit about you, Michelle?
Yes, a little.
Okay, she said just a little, so I can't give it all away. But I've known Michelle for a while. We first connected in the event space, in the event industry. It's a while, I was first kind of starting out, getting my business up off the ground and starting to also mentor and educate other event planners. And I had the privilege and the honor to have Michelle as one of my mentees. And she has just grown her business, grown her mindset, grown her platform. And so now, y'all, guess what? Child, she don't need me. She's a mentor herself. No, she is just doing phenomenal things. And I'm so, so proud of her. But I'm more proud that she's here to have this discussion with me today because I think that the mentee mentor path can be something that each one of us can become. Each one of us can be that. But it's about how you approach it. And it's also about understanding what it is that you need in a mentor as you are the mentee, because that also helps mold and shape you into maybe what you might be as a mentor as well. So Michelle, I'm excited to have you, girl. Hey, how are you?
I am doing well, and I'm so excited to be here. I watch the series all the time, even if I gotta catch up on, late night while I'm working, I'm
Hey,
listening
that's
and
why we're
everything.
here. We're here for dinner.
Yeah. So I do. I love what you've done with this space here. And it's just so dynamic, like you said, for entrepreneur women and a place for us. So
Yes.
congratulations on the new platform.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Look, y'all, she already turning this around on me, and she know this is about her. So you see how she did that? She flipped the script. That's what she do. But thank you, sis. No, really, in all honesty, thank you so much. You know that means a lot coming from you. And we not gonna cry up here today, okay? I already told her because see what she and I do, we get together and then we have these cry fests. So y'all, we not dropping no tears today. But I do, but she knows I love her. I love you with all my heart. And so I'm glad that you said yes to sharing this time and space with me today, because I want to start off by having you share just a little bit about how you kind of started on your entrepreneurial journey. I think it's important for people to understand, how you got started, because we each have a different story about how we landed in entrepreneurship and what that looked like, what drove us or how it chased us down, right? So let us know how you got started.
Well, just to give all credit, I started the journey as always loving everything about events. My grandmother's home was a home everybody went to. So I grew up with it. I just didn't know what it was called. So I, was fumbling along and just, doing things here and there and doing things for free. And the entrepreneurship journey
Not free.
came. Yeah, no, it was free. It was like, oh, I'm having a wedding. Oh, I'll do it, so I can, because it was just joy to me.
Okay, we keeping it real. We keeping it real.
Keeping it 100% real. And then my husband was like, you're not going to be doing this for free anymore. And yes, and he got me on my entrepreneurship journey. He was like, listen, we need to construct this as a business and everything. And to be honest with you, it was more of a glorified hobby for me. I wasn't taking it seriously. It was like, I got my corporate job. I'm good. I'm just going to do this on the weekends or whatever. And I'm okay. And he was like, no. You're doing a lot of work. This is, you're coming home, it's late, you and you get nothing. You have nothing but a thank you.
Right.
And that's it. So
and
that's how my journey started. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to the people who help hold us accountable when we first are starting out, right? Yes. Because what I love about what Michelle said is that she was very transparent and just saying like, hey, I loved it, so I was willing to do it. And, even though she knows I itch when anybody says the F word, like free, but, but the reality is that we all have been there. Like we all have been there at some point in time, even if you didn't, even if it wasn't for free, maybe you charge $5, okay, whatever. But
500, short story, right. $500 first event, catered, directed, event planner at $500.
Oh, girl, you was working.
Hard. And the check bounced.
Oh, my word, my goodness. See, and that's the realness that we bring here in this space, because again, if you're out there and you're now like, oh my God, that's me right now, or you're like, I can recall a time when, then there's no shame, because we all have been there. We all have been there. But the whole point of this is that we can't stay there. And so, because when you know better, you do better. And so I love that that Michelle shared, hey, this is where I was because I was just doing what I love. And that's how a lot of us enter our entrepreneurial journey, doing what we love. But thank the Lord for those friends and husbands and people who see more in us, who are like, oh, no. Let me bring you on over to the other side, right?
Exactly.
So that is so good. That's so good. So you guys started, you realized, very quickly that this was something that you actually love, but also could possibly step into as a business. And so where did you go from there?
Well, I was on Facebook, and I don't know how me and you connected, but we became friends on Facebook. I don't know what that looked like, whether you requested me, I requested you. But once I started following you, you spoke to every fear that I had. You were like, come to this conference. This conference is, I'm going to tell you everything. And I was craving for someone to say that to me. I was looking for someone to say, I can help you, because I didn't know who to go to besides going to school or something like that. And you were just so welcoming. You were just so honest with your approach, and everything that you put out on social media was in excellent. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to go to this conference. I didn't know what it was. I knew I bought a VIP ticket, and I was going to do what it needed to get to this conference. And that changed, that the Plan is Sweet changed the trajectory of my entire career.
That is, you know what? You trying to
No, I'm
make me
not. I'm
proud.
telling the
Yeah, you are.
truth.
Yeah, you are.
I am telling the truth. That is
But
my
no.
story.
So tell me, what were some of the things, because you mentioned a couple of things that you mentioned that I want to point out to people, because Michelle's actually kind of carrying us into my next question that I had for her. So perfect timing, because often I think women in business or women entrepreneurs, we know that we need some sort of help, right? We know that we need resources. We know that we need someone to sort of help guide us, or just be real with us, like, hey,
Right.
this, no, not like that, like that's not it, but this is it. But I also know that sometimes it is hard to find what you need, or it's hard to find someone who's willing to to invest that time. So what were some of the things, just as you were kind of looking at either the conference, or or just looking at me, that really made you feel like, okay, like I feel like I could probably connect with her, or I feel like she would be, like you mentioned, you felt like I was very warm and inviting. I want to tap into some of the qualities and characteristics that women out there may want to look for when they're seeking out a mentor.
Knowledge. I mean, you, like I said, you spoke to everything that I was looking for. You said, we're going to discuss contracts. We're going to talk about how to get sales. We're going to talk about social media. So the education part was everything that I needed. I knew what I needed, but I just didn't know how to get there. So that was very, very important. And like I said, in all of the stuff that you was putting out, I was like, oh yeah, I need to know that, or I need to know this. Again, you were open, you were inviting. I think that is so important, because when you're first starting out with a business, or for anything, first starting out with anything, you're looking for someone to have at least a maternal instinct or some type of emotion that you can attach to. And it's not like, move away because you're going to get more than me and I don't want to help you. That wasn't what I got. I got community over competition. It was, come on, sis, let me help you. Let me, put you in the right direction. So I would strongly, strongly suggest that when you're looking for someone, just find someone with some emotion, and that you can tap into, and that can willingly want to help you.
No, I love that. I love the the emotion part, because I do think that sometimes we look out here on social media and we see so many different forward facing things that aren't always what they appear to be, and I think understanding that you can connect with someone on an emotional level is a requirement, because if you're gonna, mentoring someone is a very close, that's having a very close connection with someone, and vice versa, right? So you want to make sure that you do feel some synchronicity, right? That you do feel like you're in sync with that person, that you guys can, get along. Doesn't mean that y'all have to have the same personality, because I've mentored people before where they might be oil, I might be water, but they are coachable, they are teachable. And so therefore we could still work together, they would still listen. So have you seen, as you have, stepped into mentoring others, have you seen how you've been able to identify maybe qualities even in mentees who you're like, okay, yes, I could probably mentor you, versus somebody that you're like, yeah, I don't know if we're necessarily going to be the right fit?
Yeah, I've experienced both. Again, for me, we have to have some type of gel. We have to have that emotion
Mm-hmm.
there, and you also have to be willing to learn. You
Yeah,
have to open up yourself and say what you're doing is okay, but you're here for a reason. You
that's
don't know
right.
everything. You know,
Right.
you just got to be willing to let that guard down and to be approachable.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to
And like you said,
take
let
control.
that guard down. Because
Let the
child, if
guard
you gonna
down.
tell me that you already know everything, then what am
There's
I here
nothing
for?
wrong, right? There's nothing wrong over here. I'm making
Everything's
millions of
fine. It's
dollars,
just fine. I'm
right?
fine.
So yeah, so I find, and then you have some people like, are very aggressive, or
Yeah.
and it's just like, whoa, calm down. It's not like that. And then you just have to say, you know what, I may not be a great fit for you. Let's see if we can find you someone or suggest someone else, because everybody's not going to be for
Right.
everyone.
That's
So, and
right.
that's okay too.
And
We want
that's
to
okay.
identify that early though.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I should say you want to
Early.
identify that early.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think it's really important, just like we do with our clients, how we kind of walk our clients through a process of consulting with them before we bring them on as a client. I think, the same should honestly be done when it comes to mentoring. You need to have kind of a discovery phase where you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you before you both commit to, this relationship where you're going to be in each other's space, because you don't know, it's just like dating. You don't know them. You don't.
That's true. I've done and I've learned this through another friend. And we were just, bouncing ideas off of everything. And she said, you know what I do? I do a personality test. And I
That's
was like, you
good.
know
Yep.
what? That's very good. And I did
That is good.
implement that. And it does help me, because even are you a phone person, or you're a
Mhm.
texter, or you're an email? That matters.
Right. Right.
That how you communicate
How you
is so
communicate. Yeah.
important. That is
That's
so
so true.
important. So, or do you work at night, or are you a morning
Hmm.
person, and all those types of questions. And that lets me know, or give me some insight about yourself. So that
Right.
helps as well.
Absolutely. No, those are great pointers. Communication style is super important, because like you said, if you're a texter and, and the person that's mentoring you is not, then they aren't going to be receptive to you texting them, and definitely not at all times of the day and night, so that definitely is important. I think also understanding what you want out of the relationship is really important too. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Like, you mentioned that I was saying, I was sharing, hey, we're gonna talk about business plans. We're gonna talk about, and so you knew what you wanted or what you needed. You just needed to figure out where to go and get that from. I think it's really important that people understand when you come into a mentor-mentee relationship, that you understand what is your end goal, like what do you want from this, because a couple things, it can't be, I think sometimes we get misguided in thinking mentor relationships are you know an,
One-sided.
an everyday thing and an ongoing continuous thing. I don't think that that's the case. I think that, number one, it shouldn't be an ongoing thing, because you need to have a start and a finish, so that you know that you have accomplished the things that you wanted that mentor to bestow upon you, right? Like if it's just ongoing, then how do you know if you ever accomplished anything, or if
That's
you ever grown?
therapy. That's therapy.
Right, right. But it's just that's therapy. That's right. Yes. Okay. Your therapist will be your friend. Okay. Your mentor is not. Okay. No. But no, so you have to have, to make it quantitative, right? Like, okay, I knew I came into this mentorship wanting to, you know, by the end of the year make 6 figures. Okay, well, by the end of the year, did you make 6 figures, right? But also that lets you know when it's time to step into the next mentorship relationship too, because just like anything else, your mentor is not a one size fits all. They're going to be with you for a season so that they can get you to that next level where you want to go. And then you might be ready to take on a different mentor who can now help you scale, because maybe that mentor doesn't do as well in helping people scale, right? So I think evaluating, your season of where you are with that mentor in meeting the goals for that particular season, right? That's really important too, really important, so that you both understand expectations, right?
That's very, very important. And that's something that we discuss up front when someone does ask me to mentor them or,
Mm-hmm.
need assistance or whatever the case may be. I want to make sure I understand your goals so we can stay on track, because
Right.
sometimes people are all over the place and you need to
Yeah,
hone in on one or two particular areas.
that's
So
right.
that's very, very important.
That's good. Yep, that's good. Staying focused and staying on target
Mhm.
is definitely something that, that is important for that relationship, right? Um, Another thing I want to talk about is, what do you do when maybe the mentor relationship is not so great, right? Like we talked about, obviously doing the consults in the beginning so that you can, maybe kind of test the waters and see if it would be a good fit. But just like an interview, sometimes people interview really, really well, right? And then they step into the job and all of a sudden you're like, who this? Like, this is the same person that showed up for the interview. So how do you handle that? Let's say you did your consultation, y'all spent a little time together, you thought y'all were vibing well, and then you get started and things are just not flowing and ebbing the way that you thought that they were.
We're going to definitely have a discussion about it, because we want to go back to why you're here and where we're at right now, and we're just not going in that direction. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. And let's just see if we can get back on track, because sometimes you just need a little push to get back on track. But if it's something that we can't, then let's just go ahead and end it now. So,
Right.
and possibly find you
Touch and
somebody else,
agree.
a referral, right? Touch and agree, and possibly find someone else that can help you out, because I don't want to leave you, without any assistance, because you're definitely
Yeah.
calling out for some. But it's also an opportunity for you to say, well, you started this way, but you
Mm-hmm.
came this way, you ended up this way. So which one is the real person? And
Mm-hmm.
that's sometimes it's a self-evaluation thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And definitely, I think, we have to be okay with being honest with ourselves. And, every mentorship relationship is not always going to work. That's just the reality of the situation. Just like every coach is not going to be the right coach for you. Sometimes you might find that, that wasn't the relationship you thought you were getting. But I think it's important. A couple of things that Michelle said, I think it's important to be honest. I think it's important to communicate, communicate going back to what your expectations were, what you thought they were, and are those expectations being met? So communication is really important. I think it's also important, though, that if it isn't going to work, then you guys figure out how to amicably sever ties, right? Like in this climate that we're in, and this economical climate, but also just this people climate. I think it's important to still understand that we can agree to disagree, right?
Absolutely.
And still walk away as professional women. We don't have to burn the building down. Don't nobody have to be, we don't have to. We don't have to go to war. Like all of that is not necessary. And so, find a way to, walk away, but walk away with everybody's dignity still intact at the the end of the day.
100% with that.
Yeah, so that's good. That's real good. Okay, so I want to shift into our next question, which is, when did you feel led to start mentoring others? Because, I think, again, coming into business, sometimes we can find ourselves in this space where we know that we're feeling led to pour into others, or to share, share the blessings that have been, bestowed onto us, or the gifts that we have. But I know that we also have to fight against imposter syndrome, right? A lot of women entrepreneurs, we really struggle with thinking that we need to be, quote unquote, ready before we can, pour into someone else, or before we can mentor another woman entrepreneur, because we feel like, well, who am I to be doing that? I've only been doing this for X amount of time. Well, what is X? What is X, right? So how did you step into that? What was, when you felt led to do it, what kind of helped you step all the way into it?
It was kind of a natural progression. It was, hey, can you help me with this? Or can we do this? Or whatever the case may be. So it was kind of a natural progression for me. But I did also feel an obligation, because I'm very much a person, when I know about something or I want to share information, because you can't hold all that information to yourself. So I'm a firm believer that my assignment on this earth is a connector. So I know many people, I know how to get in contact with people. So that is how I started with the whole mentoring others. I've been put in position of leadership. So that's also another reason why. But more so, I want to help that person that was me. If most of my brides or family members, or just people in general, a lot of people follow me on social media, and they be like, well, hey, I like to do, parties and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about it, because it's more than just calling a DJ and getting a caterer. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. And then, I'm always telling people, hey, you want to do a day in the life with me? You can shadow me, you can follow me, because it's long days, it's long nights, it's it's a whole lot of stuff. So it was just it's a natural progression for me. I'm a people person, I'm a talker, me and you be on the phone for hours. And I just feel led to be in that position to help.
No, that's good. That's good. And I think it is an organic, sometimes it is an organic thing that you just kind of naturally, step into. I would also offer just to offer like a checks and balance for those of you who are out there, who are kind of, on that line where you're like, I think I would like to step into it, but, find ways for you to kind of, pour into people, just by offering, a nugget here, or sharing with them, a technique or strategy, baby step your way into it if you are feeling some sort of way about it, so that you don't feel like you just have to dive right into it. I think it will allow you to see how comfortable you are, right? Because sometimes you think that you are, and then once you get ready, you're like, oh wow, okay, there's a lot of pressure, right? So just baby step your way into it, so that you can make sure that you're comfortable, but also so that you can see where you are able to help. And then the only other thing I would offer too, Michelle, is you've been able to find pockets or areas of expertise that you really like to share on now. I know you've shared about, community building. You shared about, building your additional income stream, right? With the notary. So I would also say you've been able to capture areas of expertise that you feel good about sharing on, right?
Yes, definitely.
And I think that's important too, is find your niche, find what you feel good about sharing about.
Absolutely. And don't, and I would say to someone that wants to be a mentor, you got to remember a lot of people do not know, they don't have any knowledge. So they're looking to you to be the subject matter expert. They're looking for you to really give them the truth about stuff and be knowledgeable in what you're in the areas in which you're talking and speaking of. So.
That's right. Don't sugarcoat it, y'all, but tell the truth. Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
That's so good. All right. So one piece of advice as we get ready as we start kind of wrapping up our conversation, what are some words of advice for, a woman entrepreneur or mompreneur out there who, is either looking for someone to mentor, to mentor them. Well, no, let's stick with that. That's looking for someone to mentor them, and they're trying to, figure out how to even make that connection. I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of women too, is sometimes there is the intimidation factor of, I see somebody, but I don't want to get shut down, or I don't want to be told no or be rejected. So then we just don't do it at all. So what would you say to the person in those shoes?
I would say trust your gut. Go with your gut. Your gut will never lead you wrong. And also be approachable. You have to be approachable as well, because if you got this guard up and everything, they're going to go to somebody else that has a more friendlier face, or, but I definitely would say trust your gut, because your gut never leads. Your intuition is that internal thing that will lead you exactly where you need to go. If it looks like danger, it is danger.
She said, if it looked like danger, it is danger.
It's danger. It is. So trusting your gut, because it'll pull you and be like, when you having doubts, trust that, give it a day before you act on it, or, approach someone. Because I know there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of things. There's a lot of social media experts, and, take your time and do your research on people, ask questions. Don't just jump into, here's my money. And you're disappointed, or it's fraud, or whatever the case may be. You're interviewing that person as well, because you're using their services. So you have the right to go ahead and ask certain things, what makes you the subject matter expert. I will say not everyone has a degree. Some people have more experience, but you want to, can I see your work, or can you give me some references, or things of that nature, just to make sure that is, they are who they say they are.
That's right. Receipts. We need receipts. But no, you're right. Ask around. I've always felt like that's the best way to, find out about people. Especially if you don't feel comfortable going directly to the source or directly to the person, then ask around. Usually people are pretty open and willing to share their experiences, So,
and don't be disappointed if they don't, because there's a lot of people out there that will not share their experiences with you.
That is true.
Don't let that deter you, because some people are just not going to do that. I'm gonna say that.
No, you're right. Some people are just not gonna do it. Yeah. Right. Everybody not cut from the same mold. So
right, exactly.
and hey, and you know what? To each his own. Like,
right, and it's okay. It's okay. Right. But don't let that defeat you. Don't let that, be like, oh, okay, that person won't help me. Well, maybe this next person will.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Michelle, for those words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing some nuggets. I hope y'all got some good nuggets from this. So now, before I have Michelle share her information, we have to do our rapid fire questions. Okay. These are questions that I never share with any of my guests. So I am not responsible for whatever comes out of your mouth. All right, you ready?
The opinions of Michelle Riddick are not of Janelle Boyce. No.
I should have that flash up across the screen. I am not responsible. All right. Number one, what do you like to do for fun?
Travel.
Oh, yeah, of course. I should have done that. Number two, what's the one stereotype about moms or women that drives you bananas?
Oh, that the only thing we know how to do is cook and clean.
Why did the last guest say the exact same thing? I love it. Y'all some revolutionary woman. Oh gosh. All right, number three. Who is your BFF in your head?
Oh, my BFF in my head is Beyonce.
Okay,
Yeah,
Queen
that's
Bee.
my girl, me and her. We hang out together.
Y'all hang out together.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, it's a toss up, but it's between me.
Now.
Okay. Let's go with Beyonce. Let's go with B.
You trying to change to Auntie Michelle, aren't you?
I am.
That's
fine.
All right. Number four. What do you dream of becoming?
Oh, I just dream of becoming an amazing soldier for God. I just want to make sure that I'm in alignment with whatever He has planned for me. I want to stay on my assignment that He has for me and just be a soldier out here for Him. That's
you better. All right, and last one, favorite song and why?
Ooh.
You know you like your music, so this should be good.
I know. Favorite song and why? I'm gonna go Mary J. Blige. I'm gonna go My Life.
Yes.
I'm gonna go My Life because it's so special to me around. It felt like we were going through the same things at the same time and everything, and just looking at her and myself, we made it over.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
She's saying we made it over. I love it.
We on the other side.
On the other side. I love it. That's so good. See, you did it. That wasn't it. All right. So Michelle, tell them where they can find you. How can they stay connected with you? If you guys want, I know you want to stay connected with Michelle. She's such a great resource. Also, for those of you who are looking for a mentor, she might be your next mentor. So definitely let them know where they can find you.
On social media, you can find me. My business is at Riddick ENT. That's on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. You can find me there. My website is riddickent.com, and it's just short for Riddick Entertainment. If you want to email me, Michelle@riddickent.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michelle. This has been wonderful. This has been such a great conversation. And as always, the time flies when you're having fun. So I have to thank all of you for just joining us. You know, I never take for granted that you guys choose to join us here each and every week. So make sure that you share this out. Make sure that you go back and listen to the replay. And listen, if you know another woman entrepreneur, another mompreneur who needs this word, who needs to hear this, make sure you share it with them. Y'all know what I say, sharing is caring. So make sure you share it out with them. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can meet me back here each and every Thursday. Y'all know we've moved to our new time. So we are now here for dinner instead of lunch, okay? So remember, friends, you can have it all as long as you're willing to have it on your terms and your time. All right, guys, until next week, be great and be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye.